láìkejì ẹ tó kúrò ń bẹ̀ vacancy náà wà. Olóyè àgbà Aṣípa Olúbàdàn Ọba Abíọ́dún Kọ́ládàísí, ẹ kú ìjókòó. Orí ọkàn kí o. Ọba Abdulhakeem Adéwọyí, àwọn ni ẹ̀kẹrin balógun bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Tí kábíyèsí bá gbadé tán, ọba Kọ́ládàísí yóò di Òsì Olúbàdàn, á kù gbésẹ̀ kan láti dókè. Ọba Adéwọyí àwọn ó di Aṣípa balógun. Okay. Ẹ tó kúrò láì ní kọ́, ókè ẹ ti fílẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀, ókè ó dáa, orí ó kọ́kè náà lásọ fún yín. Àwọn èèyàn jàǹkàjàǹkà pọ̀ ń bì tí mo rò pé protocol officer yóò lè recognize wọn. Mo kí gbogbo yín. Ẹ ṣé, Ìbàdàn kí yín, Ìbàdàn kí yín. Ẹ ṣé, mo dúpẹ́ o. Ẹ bá fún ààrẹ máyégún ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn Olóyè Mustapha Adébáyọ̀ lèrò látẹ̀wọ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀dọ̀ sí.
Ẹ dákun, mo tọrọ gáfárà, èmi ò gbé ìbò torí n ò lọ sùkúù. His Imperial Majesty Ọba Rashidi Adéwọ̀lú Ládọjà, the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land, was born on September 25, 1944 in Gambari village near Ogbomoso, Oyo State. His roots go back to Arusa compound, Isaleusi, a proof of his deep Ibadan ancestry. Obaladoja's academic journey began at the Progressive Day School, Aladori, Ibadan, where he had his primary education. And this was followed up with a successful training at the Ibadan Boys High School, Okebola. He came out of here with grade 1 in the West African School Certificate examinations. He continued his studies at the high school certificate level at Olivet Baptist High School, during which he demonstrated an exceptional brilliance in the final examinations. He proceeded to Belgium with a full scholarship and graduated with distinction in chemical engineering. When he came back, he worked in various capacities until 1985, when he decided to venture into private business. He went into shipping, manufacturing, banking, agriculture, transportation. His political ascent began with his election as senator in 1993 under the Social Democratic Party, and he served as Oyo State Governor between 2003 and 2007 under the People's Democratic Party, implementing reforms like the 30 pupil class policy and total eradication of guinea worm in Oyo State. Following the impeachment, illegal impeachment as governor in 2066, he was reinstated And this hiatus propelled him to decide to do more in humanity and community development as a firm believer in democratic tenets of the rule of law. His ascent to the exalted office of OLUBADAN followed the traditional process with his installation as the Jagun OLUBADAN on 1st of October 1993. That was before I was born. From this, he rose through the established ladders, and this culminated in his emergence as the 44th OLUBADAN, who is to be crowned by the special grace of Allah on Friday, 26 September 2025. Obaladoja, a firm promoter of culture and tradition, is a devout Muslim who is married with children and grandchildren. We pray that his reign will signal the beginning of an enduring peace and development for Ibadan land and the entire Yoruba land and Nigeria as a whole. Thank you for listening.
So had been his demeanor since childhood, like the pure-hearted dolphin. So was his trademark in business, like the courage of a lion. So was his bravery in politics, like the clutching flanks of an eagle on its sea prey. So had been his audacity in pursuit of justice.
bọ́rọ̀ yòókù tó. Ìjẹ́ kẹyẹkẹyẹ má kẹ́mẹ̀ ìyá ìjẹ́fẹ́ gbòdo. Gbogbo Ìbàdàn pátápátá ẹ̀kú àlejò wa o. Gbogbo Ìbàdàn pátápátá ẹ̀kú àlejò wa. Ẹ ti rán ní sọ̀rọ̀ òde o. Àní ẹ ti rán ní sọ̀rọ̀ òde. Ó wá kùntẹ́ fòrò jẹ. Òròde òrògbòde. Gbogbo Ìbàdàn pátá ẹ̀kú àlejò ọba tuntun o. Ọba tó tóbi àrò. Ọba rẹ̀ bí ó sùn. Èmi súnmọ́ bá níwọ̀n ègbèje. Mo jìnnà sábà níwọ̀n ẹgbẹ̀fà. Ṣé bí arọ́bà fi lọ bá ń pa? Bàbá má pa mí, bàbá má gbà mí láàní. Ọba tó tóbi ẹni máa ró. Ọba rẹ̀ bí ẹni kò sùn. Ọmọ àrùsà máa gbódò ẹnu mi. Ọmọ àrùsà mọ̀mọ́ jẹ́ ẹrù tí sẹ́ máa gbódò ẹnu mi o. Ìjẹ́ kí ni ó ṣe eré ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀yà so. Kí ni ó ṣe àjànàkú ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀yọ̀dàn. Kí ni ó ṣe ọmọ àrùsá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ó sì di bàbá lórí gbogbo wa o. Àkànmá Adéwọ̀lù ọmọ Ládọjà máa ṣe bí àwọn bàbá rẹ̀. Ọmọ tó bá ṣe bí bàbá ẹ̀ lọ́kàrẹ̀. Ọmọ tí ó bá ṣe bí bàbá ẹ̀ ọmọ ọlọ́mọ ni. Ọba tó ṣe bí orí mọ́nàmọ́ná ló sùn wọ́n ládé. Orí òjò ló sùn wọ́n lápá. Ọmọ àrùsà ọba ọdúpẹ́ mo bá ọdún pẹ́pẹ́ òkú. Gbogbo Ìbàdàn pátápátá ẹ̀kú àlejò ọba tuntun. Gbogbo orí adé tí ń bẹ ní kàlẹ́ pátá mo kí o. Kí adé ọpẹ́ lórí, kí bàtà ọpẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀ ọba. Mo fi gbogbo mọ́gàjí mo fi kí gbogbo lọ́kùnrin. Ìyálóde Ìbàdàn, Ìyálóde Ìbàdàn. Àdàpẹ́ ajá ni wọ́n pè ní Ìyálóde. Mo fi Ìyálóde Ìbàdàn kí gbogbo olóbìnrin pátápátá kúrò ògòdò.
Orí tí ó jọba òní ilé ayé. Tí ọlọ́jì kára ìlẹ̀kẹ̀ o. Adéwọ̀lú dé, owó ti dé, ọlá ti dé, àlàáfíà bá wà nílùú Ìbàdàn àdúpẹ́. Àkó wà níṣó. Àkó wà níṣó. Àwa máa ń bẹ lẹ́yìn rẹ̀ o. Gbogbo alálẹ̀ ń bẹ lẹ́yìn rẹ̀. Òkè Ìbàdàn ń bẹ lẹ́yìn rẹ̀ o. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ń bẹ lẹ́yìn rẹ̀. Máa kó wa níṣó.
Perhaps we're looking for one of a kind, the cultural exhibitions around the world, all traveled and places. Stay tuned to my channel, KB Jojo Newsbox, where I intend to give you every vital information, updates, interesting places, places of interest, tourism, and about people, culture around the world. Stay tuned on this channel. We promise to give you more. It's Thank you.
Ìgbà tí mò ń bá kábíyèsí sọ̀rọ̀ tí àwa alukoro ẹgbẹ́ alukoro tí a lọ kí wọn wá fà mí sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ wọ́n ní alága ayé Adébáyọ̀ Oyèrò Ọlọ́run ló fi Oyèrò dá Ìbàdàn lọ́lá ẹ bá ń fún Chief Adébáyọ̀ Oyèrò lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí wọ́n ní ọpọlọ pípé púpọ̀ wọ́n sì mọ bí wọ́n ṣe máa darí ẹgbẹ́. Former President General Central Council of Ibadan, Chief Mustapha Adebayo Oyero, thank you so much for all you have done and still do so well for Ibadan land. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me also recognize another worthy son of Ibadan land, former Dean Faculty of Law, University of Ibadan, now Vice Chancellor, Kolada University, Ibadan, Professor Adeniyi Olatubos. You are most welcome, sir. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ gbogbo àwọn mọ́gàjí ibi tẹ́ ẹ bá wà, gbogbo mọ́gàjí ibi tẹ́ ẹ bá wà, ẹ bá mi farahàn lé, gbogbo mọ́gàjí ilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn ibi tẹ́ ẹ bá wà, yóò ṣòro fún mi kí n tó máa karúkọ yín ní kẹ̀ọ̀kan, ẹ dákun, ẹ má bínú, ẹ bá ṣe kára lé fún àmọ́gàjí o, ẹ bá ṣe kára lé fún àmọ́gàjí o, ẹ bá ṣe kára lé fún àmọ́gàjí o, ẹ ṣeun. Now I invite His Royal Majesty Ashipa Olubadan of Ibadan land and Osi Olubadan of Ibadan land specifically. Ẹ bá ṣe kábíyèsí o.
Kí gbogbo ní ẹ káàárọ̀, ẹ kú dìde, ẹ dẹ̀ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí. Mo fẹ́ kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé ẹ jẹ́ ká congratulate ara wa ní àsìkò tá a wà yìí. Ọba tuntun tó ń bọ̀, ó ń gbé ìrètí bọ̀, ó dẹ̀ gbé ìdàgbàsókè bọ̀ fún Ìbàdàn. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́ ẹni dáa ká ṣe kára wa pé congratulations fún Olúbàdàn wa tó ń bọ̀. Ẹ ṣe a kú oríire náà o, wọ́n á dẹ̀ lò ó pẹ́. Èyí tá à ń ṣe lénìí bọ́yé sọ àkọ́kọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ni àríró ẹ̀ rí. Ìbàdàn náà la rẹ̀ sí máa ń rírun kọ́ báyìí. Èyí tá à ń ṣe rí a máa ṣe ń bàdàn. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ kọ́mítì tó organize eléyìí pé ẹ ṣe púpọ̀ o, ẹ dẹ̀ máa rí ṣe bá ṣe ń ṣe lọ. Ọlọ́run á máa jẹ́ kí ká máa gbòòrò sí bí Ìbàdàn ṣe ń gbòòrò lọ. Mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ welcome guest lecturer wa, ẹ kú dìde, kò sígbà tá a máa pè yín, ọmọ wa ní anyway, so kò sígbà tá a máa pè yín tẹ́ ẹ̀ ní dá wa lóhùn, ẹ káàbọ̀. Mo fẹ́ highlight kankan nígbà tí MC ń pe àwọn mọ́gàjí kan farahàn, mo sọ fún kábíyèsí lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ mi pé ṣáwa náà ní dìde, after all àwa gan náà mọ́gàjí ni wá ní ilé wa, tá a bá di mọ́gàjí a lè débi tá a délé ní. A dúpẹ́ fún ètò Ìbàdàn, òkè Ìbàdàn á dẹ̀ pé gbogbo wa o, ẹ ṣe púpọ̀. Mo ṣe ọ̀pá and look for sí lecture, má jẹ́ kí n bọ̀ yín pẹ̀lú rhetorics. Lecturer wa ń eager láti wá bá a sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ ṣé o.
Ẹ bá ń ṣe kábíyèsí fáṣípò Olúbàdàn lẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. Ẹ bá ń ṣe kábíyèsí fún aṣípò Olúbàdàn lẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. Ẹ̀yin náà kájọ lẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. My Lord, spiritual and temporal, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I invite distinguished Professor Hamidu Sani, Chairman Coronation Lecture Committee, to please step forward and present the keynote address. The chairman, sir.
Ẹ kú ojúmọ́ o, ẹ dáàni. A kí gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa àti ìyá wa. Bàbá wa Yorùbá ti kí gbogbo wa lédè Yorùbá. Ṣùgbọ́n kí ní kàtà máa ń sọ ní pẹ̀tọ̀. Wọ́n ní Ìbàdàn kàwé, Ìbàdàn ọ̀mọ̀wé, ẹ̀rọ láńtà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni à ń tà ó sì pé wa. Ẹ gbèmí láì mi ó sì ìbò díẹ̀ o. Wọ́n ní kúkú tójú ń tù lọ́rùn torí afọ́jú ni o, kó lè pé gbùdùgbẹ́ ọjà. so bàbá sì èbó díẹ̀ àwọn tí ọmọ tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n pe Yorùbá náà gbọ́ Ìbàdàn gbé èbó díẹ̀ bàbá wa kábíyèsí mo fẹ́ ká fi kíní kan kún oríkì wọn ẹ rí i pé Nàìjíríà kéèyàn bá gba national honour OON MNI gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ káwá fi kún lónìí pẹ̀tù ká fi KKO kò ṣẹlẹ̀ rí kábíyèsí Olúbàdàn KKO ẹja yọ ibẹ̀ o kò ṣẹlẹ̀ rí kábíyèsí Olúbàdàn ha torí nǹkan ṣe yìí kò ṣẹlẹ̀ rí. Thank you very much. Already we have the copy of the address in the brochure, but I won't bother to read through, but I just want to give us the background to this event. His Imperial Majesty Oba Rashidi Adewale Ladoja, the 44th Olubadan, was born on September, sorry, you're giving me a wrong something. That's not for me. Sorry, yes. Following the death of Oba Olabiola Kuleyin and the certainty that it was to be the turn of His Imperial Majesty Senator Rashidi Adewale Ladoja to ascend the exalted throne of Olubadan, the dream of redefining the status of Olubadan from perception to ascension, from being a mere custodian of tradition to that of a brain box of modernity and development verged on reality. And there were many factors that pointed in this direction. Here is a king that was born in 1994 to become the 44th Olubadan in the recorded history of modern Ibadan land. So from my station in the UK as a guest of the British Academy, I shared my thoughts with Baba Oyeru on what we will need to do differently this time around to showcase the intellectual profile of Ibadan land. Of the several programs discussed with Baba Oyeru, an international coronation lecture, which we are having today, the first of its kind in the history of this city, came on top. It is expected to focus, using hitherto unknown or poorly known facts, on the evolution of Ibadan land as a power hub in all spheres of the communal life of a megapolis, namely military, economic, women empowerment, strategic thinking, which some have naively called Ibaraloma or Malayipo. So that Layipo will be explained to us today by Professor Falola. So this new vision for a true portrait and portrayal of Ibadan is the first step towards correcting the wrong image of Ibadan and the uncharitable characterization of its genetic hospitality as a welcome post for the lazy and the feeble-minded, which finds expression in such statements as Ibadan Gule, Ogbole, Koribeo. This is the narrative we are set to change. So once the Kabiyesi endorsed the various items of the vision, getting the right hands to drive it became easy, given the galaxy of high-profile indigenes of the city who have excelled in various aspects of intellectualism and professionalism. Chief Dr. Mrs. Mojisola Ladipo MNI, the quintessential university administrator. Professor Ladipo, please. Yes, I can give her professor today. Stand for recognition, please. An applause for her, please. Professor Akin Alao, please stand for recognition, please. Alhaji Isaka Adio for recognition, please. Dr. Wasi Olariwaju is in the engine room somewhere there. He's recognized as well. And Dr. Mansurat Alaga, I used to call her the real Alaga. I'm only Alaga Fidihe. So Dr. Mansurat, you're welcome now. So Toji Mohammed, who has been the anchor personnel, became our secretary. Our choice of the first lecturer for the event was informed by the imperative of history and reality. Of course, we have several other programs that we have in the pipeline. We hope the Nigerian type will not bust our pipeline. Yes, we wanted somebody, a full-blooded Ibadan boy from paternal, maternal, and village side. So we got one in whom we call him Iwi Odiaje, Alijanu Ojago, Ọmọ Oko Ọba Abago, Iyanrin Ilepo, We also wanted one who is Ibadan Plus, that is, one with chieftaincy titles. So we located Bobakuto of Ibadan, so confined 2014, and the Agbakin Kushela Ibadan in 2022. And of course, recently, he became the Malaika Oluyole, and that is the title of his latest book. And that is Professor Toyin Omaniyi Abiodun Falola. A round of applause for him, please. With over 200 books, scores of keynote lectures and chapters in books, scores of book reviews, in fact, a CV of about 120 pages, in which the name Ibadan features in not less than 87 places as of August. Now that CV now is now obsolete because we are now in September. It has added a few more things. So who can beat that? So on August 5 this year, our committee agreed on the lecture topic, namely Ibadan in history, issues in tradition and modernity. It was to be delivered in about 44 minutes to tally with the year of birth and sequence of the Kabiyesi as the 44th OLUBADAN. The manuscript was also not to be more than 40 pages. But given the wonder kid and enigma that he is, Professor Falola, between August 6, 2025, when he was informed, and 16th of this month, he had written a 400 pages book. I think he deserves an applause for that. With the same lecture title to be dedicated to His Imperial Majesty OLUBADAN. This is the first of such a feat by any international academic. According to a recent survey, 40% of the greatest 10 educated African individuals, based on the number of academic degrees, global scholarly impact, and interdisciplinary achievements, are Nigerian. It's 10 out of every African are Nigerian. 2 out of the 10 are full-blooded by the children, namely Mama Bolale Awe, and the most outstanding African intellectuals in 2024 are Ibadan children, and our coronation lecturer, Toyin is one of them. So we couldn't have gotten a better choice, and I want to assure you that we shall religiously pursue our other record-breaking programs in honor of our revered Kabiyesi, Oba Kabiyesi, Arusamaru Tishe, Ọmọ Olúpo Alápẹ̀lú, Aláìpẹ̀ ní ẹ̀mọ́ yòókù lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, Ọmọ Alékóńgó Jọba. Thank you very much.
Alága ní ká máa wí bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn nìkan náà jẹ́ kí n mọ ìtàn orúkọ Kábíyèsí pé ọmọ àròsà mọ́rù ti sẹ́ni. Ẹ ṣeun, mo dúpẹ́. My Lord spiritual and temporal, please permit me to take another short time and to please recognize the distinguished presence of former Secretary to the Oyo State Government, Alhaji Lekan Ali. I also recognize former Head of Service, Oyo State, one of the MNIs that I normally recognize in Oyo State, Alhaji Tajuddin Aremu, MNI, Bob Bajiro of Ibadan land, Ekabosa. My Lord spiritual and temporal, may I invite our host, the Vice Chancellor, the 13th Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Oyeboda Adebawale, MNI, for his good message. The Vice Chancellor, sir. Mo kí gbogbo wa kú jókòó.
ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí o. The principal officers of the University of Ibadan, because the entire principal officers are here. Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Bursar, the University Librarian, and the Public Relations Officer of the University. The distinguished lecturer of today, Professor Toyin Falola, Jacob and Frances Sanga Musical Chair in Humanities at the University of Texas at Austin. The chairman of this occasion, all members of the OLUBADAN Council, High Chiefs of Ibadan land, and other revered Royal Majesties that are present, the gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with an immense depth of honor and profound sense of history, and I stand before you today to deliver this goodwill message. This is not just a ceremonial function, as has been stated. It is a conference of history, of academia and royalty, a moment where town and gown unite in celebration of an epochal transition in the life of our great city. First, and most importantly, on behalf of the entire community of the University of Ibadan, the Senate, the Governing Council, the congregation, alumni, and students, I sincerely extend our most heartfelt congratulations to the OLUBADAN designate, Imperial Majesty of our Senator Rashid Adewolu Ladoja, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Your journey to this throne is a testament of enduring wisdom and unique succession system in Ibadan, a system that has ensured stability and rewarded experience and service for generations. We are very confident that your reign, fortified by your past experience as a businessman, a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic, and a former governor of our dear state, will usher in an era of unprecedented progress, unity, and development of Ibadan land. Kabiyesi. The choice of this topic, the topic of this lecture, Ibadan in history, the issues in modernity and tradition, is not only apt but deeply insightful. It compels us to engage in a necessary introspection about the soul of our city. Ibadan is a paradox. It's a historical enigma. It is a city that is forged in the fires of the 19th century warfare, a military camp that evolved into a political and economic powerhouse. It's a city of fierce individualism, but yet a profound sense of communal loyalty. It is a city that has produced a galaxy of Nigeria's first generation intellectuals, pioneers, and leaders, many of whom were nurtured right here at the University of Ibadan. This city, our city, now stands at a crossroad of the 21st century. It is grappling with the relentless tides of modernity, urban sprawl, technological disruption, evolving social norms and pressures of a burgeoning population. How do we navigate this complex terrain? How do we build a mega city of the future without erasing the unique cultural identity and traditional structures that have been the bedrock of our society for centuries? How do we ensure that progress does not come at the expense of our heritage? I'm sure that these are critical questions that our lecture today will seek to interrogate. And there is no more eminently qualified to lead the intellectual expedition than our lecturer, Professor Toyin Falola, a son of the soil. A global academic icon, a celebrated historian, and a public intellectual of the highest order. Professor Falola has devoted his life
to studying and interpreting the African condition. His prolific writings have illuminated our complexities of the past as well as the present. To have him cast his scholarly gaze specifically on Ibadan is a very rare privilege. We are set for a master class in historical analysis, and I anticipate that a lecture that will not only educate but also provoke the necessary conversation about our future. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for us at the University of Ibadan, this topic resonates very deeply. As Nigeria's premier university, our institution has shared a symbiotic relationship with our city for over 7 decades. The city has been our home, our host, and a source of immense inspiration. Our scholars across our departments of history, archaeology, anthropology, urban and regional planning, and arts have consistently studied and documented the Ibadan phenomenon. We see ourselves not just as tenants within this city, but active custodians of its intellectual and cultural memory. Furthermore, my ascension to the office of Vice Chancellor of this great university adds a deeply personal layer to this occasion. As the first true Ibadan indigene to hold this position, I feel the weight of history and promise of this moment more acutely. It symbolizes a strengthening of bond between the city and the university. It is a call to action for me and for our institution to deepen our engagement with the community, to translate our research into tangible solutions for the city's challenges, and to partner with the traditional institution under the Imperial Majesty's leadership to preserve all that is noble in our traditions while boldly embracing innovation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the discourse between modernity and tradition is not a battle to be won, it is a balance to be struck. Tradition provides the anchor of our identity, the compass of our values, and the continuity of our community. Modernity provides the tools for development, the opportunities for growth, and the gateway for the future. The wisdom lies in knowing what to preserve, what to adapt, and what to leave behind. It is my earnest hope that the insights from Professor Falola's lecture today will serve as a guiding light in the new era of the Imperial Majesty's reign and for continued evolution of our beloved Ibadan. Before I close, let me thank the OLUBADAN Council, the OLUBADAN as well as the OLUBADAN Council for granting the piece of land in 1948. That piece of land is approximately 1,550 hectares of land. And that is where University of Ibadan was situated. It was granted to us for a lease for 999 years. And for only 1 guinea, £1, 1 shilling, and 1 bottle of Bowls aromatic schnapps. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you, and thank you for listening.
Igbó ni yóò ó dà ní Ìbàdàn padà fún wa. Àgbàlẹ̀ wa padà lọ́wọ́ yìí o. Mọ́gàjí wa ní ìlú ẹ̀, Vice Chancellor wa, ọmọlé ìta ọ̀rọ̀ nísàlẹ̀ òsì ni wọ́n. Ẹ bá fún wọn láti gba àyọ̀lẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ sí. kí a tó máa bẹ́ẹ̀tò lọ síwájú sí i àti síwájú sí i àwọn ọmọ wa kan láti Emmanuel Alade University ok ẹ ní sùúrù náà ṣe gbọ́ ẹ ní sùúrù náà. Now I invite the first female registrar of the University of Ibadan and the first female registrar in any Nigerian university, very distinguished Chief Mojisola Olusola Ladipo, Ekefa Yalori of Ibadan, to be present the citation of Kábíyèsí Olúbàdàn ti Ìbàdàn, Chief Mojisola Ladipo ma. Ẹ bá ń pàtẹ́wọ́ fún Ekefa Yalori, ẹ̀yin obìnrin ẹ̀sìn bíi ni.
Thank you very much.
Ìjẹba àti wáyé parí kọ́lá rárí bàbá ránni sọ́jà òjò ní ránni sí ilé ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Ọlárẹ̀wájú ọmọ ọlánìyàn ọ̀gá tiwa ní fáfitì Emmanuel Alayande èyí tí ń bẹ ní Ọ̀yọ́ lọ́kọ̀ wádé ilẹ̀ ìwà àkọrin ọmọ ẹlẹ́rú òjò kọ́ ọmọ agbẹdúdú orí òkèlè wọ́n pẹ́ kákọ́ ọmọ àrùsà débi tọ́lọ́rẹ̀ láàpẹrẹ ọmọ àrùsà wọ́n mọ̀ tẹ ẹrù tì sẹ́ ọmọ mọ̀lẹ́dẹ́dẹ́ mọ̀mújọba mọ̀tàlálà méjọ yẹ máa jẹ mọ̀jọ pèrè ọ̀nà ọ̀pọ̀lọ́yàn ẹrú onídùúyè ní ipò ìwọ̀fà onídùúyè lájà ẹsẹ̀ ilé ẹrú tó bá dùúyè ní ipò ìwọ̀fà tó bá dùúyè lájà ẹsẹ̀ ilé wà ní ọgbọ̀gbọ́ kó gbogbo lọ kó tó kọfà kó tó kọrún alẹ́ àtìlẹ́ ìtẹ́nu rẹ̀ àwọlẹ̀ gẹ̀rẹ́gẹ́ kó tó délé olóyè amóye jẹ ọmọ olùkọ́ aláìlú mọ̀jọ pèrè orí ọkọ̀ lọ́yàn mọ̀jọ pèrè orí làpá tí a sọ ọ̀rọ̀ lápá tẹ ìgbà lẹ̀kẹ̀ bèbè nílòbìnrin pàtẹ ọmọ bíbí inú sí nílé olúpo mọ̀jọ pèrè ọwọ́ ọkọ̀ òwe mọ̀jọ pèrè ọwọ́ kẹ̀kú sí arọ́bà tá sí òtítọ́ ìyá jẹ nọ́bí kolúpòpòpò dé nípò ya àkànwọ́ gan níbẹ̀ lóde èpo àdìsọ́ gan níbẹ̀ lóde èpo. Pátápátá ẹ máa gbórílẹ̀ wọn bá bẹ ní ọmọ olúyọ̀yẹ ọmọ àjọ rọ̀ṣù Ìbàdàn tí mú ẹrú tiẹ̀ rẹ̀ ẹ̀hún tó mú ẹrú ibi ogún gbé bẹ̀rẹ̀ nílé bàbá ẹ̀yìn ibẹ̀ náà pé níbẹ̀rẹ̀ ibi ogún mi dì sí ibẹ̀ náà pé nídùgbẹ̀ ibi ogún parí sí ibẹ̀ náà pé lókun pa ibi ogún ẹ̀yẹ bàbá yín ibẹ̀ náà pé láyẹyẹ.
ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ bá mọ rírì àwọn ọmọ yìí ẹ bá ná wọn lówó ẹ bá ná wọn lówó ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ bá mọ rírì wọn. àwọn ọmọ yìí wá láti Emmanuel Alade University láti Ọ̀yọ́ ni akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wọn ni wọ́n láti Emmanuel Alade University láti Ọ̀yọ́. Gbogbo ìgbà tí n bá ń wò wọ́n máa ń wú mi lórí púpọ̀. Mo mọ rírì wọn púpọ̀ púpọ̀. máa kó lẹ̀ sà. owó yín ni. wá bí owó ni yẹn. ẹ dápẹ́ bá ń fún àwọn ọmọ yìí ní àtẹ̀wọ́ ayọ̀. ṣé wọ́n ṣe dáadáa bí wọ́n ṣe dáadáa? ẹ ṣeun. Falola, to please step forward and side beside me here. I want to command you for the first time in my life. I want to command you. I had the power of the microphone to command you. First ever OLUBADAN Coronation Lecturer, in honor of His Imperial Majesty Ọba Rashidi Adewolu Akamu Ladaja Arushabaru Tishe 1 in Ibadan land, or any coronation ceremony in Yoruba land and beyond. Professor, nearly 200 books on Africa and the African diaspora, and the most cited historian in Africa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will present 20 virtues about him for this short discourse. Whenever I go to the next one, just let me say one. The first one, Falola holds the Jacob and Sanger Mosika Chair in the Humanities at the University of Texas at Houston, the United States of America. Falola is the first person to obtain B.Lit in Humanities by examination from the University of Ibadan. Falola is the leading intellectual shaping African studies and global discourse. Falola, the leading influential individual who inspires generations of scholars across Africa and worldwide. Falola is humble and known for approachability and generosity despite immense achievements. Falola, whose transformational and whose impacts academia, whose impacts academia and culture and social development are profoundly. Falola, a Pan-Africanist who advocates unity and shared purpose among Africans globally. Falola, a renowned historian who specializes in African history and epistemologies. Falola, noted for the Meko output, which include nearly 800 scholarly articles and book chapters. Oh God. Falola, noted for pioneering interdisciplinary approaches, blending African traditions and modern scholarship. Falola connects deeply with people, fostering collaboration and mentorship. Falola is resilient and overcomes challenges with dedication to scholarship and justice. Falola is authentic and roots his work in African cultures and experiences. Falola has lectured in over 60 countries across all continents. Insightful, Falola offers profound analysis on African history, culture, and politics. Falola assembles scholars for impactful interdisciplinary projects. Falola is the recipient of over 26 honorary doctorates and numerous accolades. Falola supports countless scholars' growth across Africa. Falola is proud of his Ibadan heritage and celebrates Yoruba heritage and African intellectual traditions. Falola continuously evolves his scholarship while engaging globally. Professor Toyin Falola, Village Ibadan, please step forward and present the fourth ever OLUBADAN Coronation Lecture in honor of His Imperial Majesty Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja Arushaman Fisewan, the 44th OLUBADAN of Ibadan land, titled the first OLUBADAN Coronation Lecture in honor of His Imperial Majesty, entitled Ibadan History, Issues, Modernity and Tradition. Professor Falola.
Thank you. Let me start by expressing my profound gratitude for this honor and invitation. And let me thank our host, University of Ibadan. This hall has a great meaning in terms of my own history. It's on this very platform that the Vice Chancellor and the Sultan of Sokoto awarded me my degree of D.Litt from the University of Ibadan. It's not an honorary doctorate. It's the first academic PhD in the humanities that the university gave me. It was through evaluation and examination. And I'm very grateful that the Vice Chancellor is here. I don't want to repeat the protocol, and I'm very thankful for all the chiefs, the high chiefs, the Bale, the Mogaji, and all of you who are here. I'm really very grateful. Please, someone should check whether people at the back can hear me, because sometimes the microphone may not do a good job. Please, someone please check whether those in the last row can hear me. I know the subject of Ibadan history inside out. I did my PhD on Ibadan, studying the 19th century. And I interviewed virtually all the leading families. And at some point, for the government and for the state governor and for the kings, they come to me to tell them about history. And I was actually the chief advisor on historical matters to the late Alaafin Adeyemi. And that's one of the reasons why he was not making the big mistakes that people are making today. Because there's Professor Alao here and some others. And when the Alaafin wrote a draft, he will send me to read when it comes to historical matters. I've written 3 books previously on Ibadan. And I wrote one commissioned by the Ibadan Central Council, published by Bookcraft. It's 1,000 pages long. The book is still available. It's very, very long. It will take many of you 3 years to finish reading it. And I've written so many essays. As our Baba and leader told you, I gave 2 Adelabu lectures. And I've given private advice to some previous OLUBADAN, and I'm very grateful. When I was invited to give this talk, I asked myself, what is it that I've not said before. And as I was writing what I've not said before, I wrote 400 pages in print. There is nothing in this book that I've said before. Nothing. And I will be going through the book. I started with Iba, which you must do so that you don't get into trouble. I will not read the entire thing. Iba onílé yìí mojúbà bí ọmọdé tó fi rókù ọdẹ pẹran, mojúbà bí ọmọ ìṣòwò tó rọ sọ́jà tó má jẹ́ wálé. Ìbà onílé yìí mo kanlẹ̀kùn kílẹ̀kùn má gbá mi lójú, ẹni ráyé fín ní ìjẹgba wọn. Mo júbà ilé mo sì júbà ìta, gbangba ọ̀dẹ̀ kò ṣeé rí fín, ẹni bá rí wọn fín a máa ràn mọ́ kiri. Ìta mo júbà lónìí o, ẹ̀kúnlé mo júbà o, mo ṣe ìbà bí mo ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìwé nìyẹn. Mo júbà gbogbo yín o, mo júbà yín, ẹ kúlé o. Fún kábíyèsí mo fẹ́ kọrin kékeré fún wọn, kẹ́ bá mi gbé o. Àti móyè yìí jẹ ó di kóró, àti móyè yìí jẹ àti móyè yìí jẹ ó di kúrò, àti móyè yìí jẹ ó di kóró. Ẹ kọrin fún kábíyèsí. Àti móyè yìí jẹ ó di kóró, àti móyè yìí jẹ ó di kòró. Èyí náà tó ń tiwa, èyí náà tó ń tiwa, àwa la ní Ìbàdàn títí tó fi gbogbo mọ̀ṣọ́. Èyí náà tó ń tiwa. Kábíyèsí ní àwọn fẹ́ Ìbàdàn state. Ní ìwé yẹn mo wá bá wọn create map Ìbàdàn state tí kábíyèsí Ládọjà láwọn fẹ́. Bí state yẹn á ṣe rírè, òun la fi ṣe máàpù ìwé o. I want to shock you. I want to start the lecture with a shock. Nigeria obtained its independence in 1960, and we have been struggling for development. And I want to use Ibadan to illustrate how in the past our societies move rapidly towards development. In 1829, when they moved here in large numbers, becoming 40 years later one of the biggest polities in West Africa. When they came with, and this is from historical studies that many of you may not know, they came in a hurry, and the first thing they needed to do was to create an agricultural foundation. They had to eat. You have to eat. And as I argued, within 3 months, they were able to feed themselves. How are they able to do that within 3 months to feed themselves? And Nigeria since 1960 has not been able to feed itself. So even in those agricultural matters, we could draw a lesson from that past, that you came with nothing, you brought some corns and Aparishu and others, you planted them very rapidly, and you began to reap the reward such that there was no food scarcity. Not as much resources as we have today. They were able to do this. And many of you have been to J Market and Ojaba Market. Remember that they were connected to other markets stretching to faraway Kano. And there are delegates from Kano. I saw 2 of them in this room who came to greet me. And to delegates from Kano, they may not know that if you are looking for African herbal medicine, the most powerful in Kano are from Ibadan and Yoruba people. Then there will be Tuareg. I saw the Kano delegation. I will give them the contacts for 3 Ibadan who engage in traditional medicine in that city. They're very famous. And in connecting, they connected Ojaba with the Republic of Benin, that Ojaba that you see but you don't pay attention to, was connected to Lagos, was connected to Badagry, was connected to Porto Novo. And you may not know that the stretch passed beyond the Republic of Benin, and they have been going to Abidjan, Makola Market in Accra, Ibadan, where people have, those who funded that market. It is the main market in Accra, Ghana today. And they stretch further to Gambia. The Yoruba king of Gambia is an Ibadan man. I've met him, I've visited him. And the stretch, when former President Obasanjo went to Ivory Coast, he was shocked when he saw the number of Ibadan people there. You can go to Abidjan and they will speak Yoruba to you. And if you've never been to Abidjan before, when you see the Yoruba people, they have the Ibadan Progressive Association in Ivory Coast. I've had the privilege of addressing them. That stretch is not new. It happened during the 19th century. You must have heard about Nadeko Road when there was democracy fight with Abiola and people were running away. And you must have heard of Ologun here in Ibadan. There are alternative roads to Republic of Benin connecting Ibadan. Myself, I've taken the road from Ibadan to Ogbomoso, landing in the Republic of Benin. And there is a northern road from Ghana that reached Ibadan, which does not pass through the main road of Badagry. You may not be aware of that. But if you are a trader, you must have known that that route existed. But these routes were there in the 19th century. They were there in the 19th century. And there is data to suggest a network of Ibadan rulers leading to the Ga people in Ghana and the Efe people. You may not be aware of that stretch. So there was a big achievement of economic development, rapid economic development in the 19th century. Merging palm oil, palm kernel production to the Atlantic economy, in which the products produced here reached the Americas and Europe. And you may not know the history of cocoa that cocoa plantation started in part of Ibadan. And this place, which what we now call Agege, became the leading cocoa production center. So we celebrate the political achievements, which is good, but we have to celebrate the cultural, the economic, and the religious. And if you read those history, indeed you'll be so proud of this city. You'll be so proud of this city. Second, this university became the center of nationalist historiography, studying the African states. You cannot study the African states without studying Ibadan. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Because there are a few examples where a city-state became an empire. Ibadan was not just a city in the 19th century. It transformed itself into an empire. So, Mama Aware that was mentioned a moment ago was the first to study this empire. It was bigger than Oyo Alaafin Atiba. It was much bigger. It was much bigger than the cluster of Ekiti State and much bigger than the clusters of Ijesha State. It was an empire. It's not a town. It wasn't a town, it was an empire with the power stretching to areas you now call Ondo State. That power extended there, stretching much further into parts of what we call Edo State, and its sheer boundaries with some other greater states. So don't call Ibadan in the 19th century a town. It's not. It was an empire. But in that empire, you find what we call a complex society, in which you are going to find people from various parts of what you call Nigeria, West Africa, living there. And we've compiled the ethnography of those who are living there. A third achievement that we don't talk about was the capacity to create political integration. Political integration. I will only just list two examples. There was what was called the Yoruba Palatinate. The word Palatinate, I owe it to another historian called Smith. In that Palatinate, Ibadan rulers held a meeting with their Alaafin, and they decided, why don't we split Yoruba, the entire Yoruba place now, southwestern Nigeria, into three. Split them into three. And they gave Ibadan a portion to control. And they were using that Palatinate, to govern what is now broken into many states of Lagos, Edo, part of Kwara, Oyo State, and Osun State. And they were able to manage that Palatinate very effectively. And that management, we must study and revive how a center was created. Those of you who have heard about Agele's system we know that they preceded the district officer. They preceded it in the ability to send political managers to as far away as Ekiti land, Ijesha land, Igbomina land. It's something that the city should be very proud of. When we moved to the colonial era, it became a state capital. And as a state capital, it began to lead in modernization projects, education, entrepreneurship, culture. Today, without any arrogance, without any exaggeration, Ibadan is the intellectual capital of West Africa. There is no exaggeration, there is no city that can match this achievement. And I'm very happy that the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan is here. I'm very happy. And that university located here has contributed to making this possible. And as I proceed in this lecture, I will expand on it. So what I've done is to divide the book into two sections. The historical section, and I'm trying to be very brief. They gave me 1 hour. And what I call the past of Ibadan that you can now see in Ibadan. It is connected to a global economy. It is connected to a global culture system. It is connected to books and blackboards. It is connected to the market of peoples. It is connected to modernity. Here is one homework I want to give you. When you go to the markets, begin to study the products and where they are made. You are going to find products from Japan. When you live here, some of the cars you are going to drive are products from Japan. You are going to find products from China. You are going to find products from Europe. You are going to find products from the United States, including bend down, used clothes that you buy. You are going to find products from Ghana. You are going to find products from northern Nigeria. You are going to find products from eastern Nigeria. And you are going to find cultural dynamism. You are going to find people of all nationalities. And when we did the demography, counting where people come from, which I did 7 years ago, which could have changed, I counted people from 187 countries in this city. Let me repeat, people from 187 countries, which we counted them by asking, where do you come from? And we got 187 countries. Just to tell you how dynamics the demographics has been. It has grown remarkably. And it's going to continue to grow. When my mother was alive, my grandmother, she said, are you not going to build a house? I said, the houses are too many. Why should I build another one? So he said, stop talking like that. It is after you built your own house, you begin to complain. After you built your own house, I want to let it for you. And you can now build your own. And the city is a teacher. It's a teacher in various ways. It will teach you ideas on the street. It will abuse you when you mess up. It will praise you when you do well. And it's a big city. Our MC referred to Ibadan scholars and how people say Ibadan people don't read. Chapter 3, I wrote an entire chapter on the intellectual tradition and legacies of Ibadan scholars. It's a very small list. It's a very small list because a list is very difficult to compile. And in this room, I've seen some of the people that I mentioned. I've seen the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan is here. Professor Amidu Sani, Vice Chancellor, is here. Bimga Adewale, I've seen him. I just saw Professor Emiraji Oyelade is here. And in that long chapter on Ibadan scholars and intellectuals, I cannot mention everyone, but I pay attention to many leading scholars, so that if people tell you that they don't go to school, I've given you the data that you can use. And in chapter 4, I wrote a history of the higher institutions of higher learnings in Ibadan. Anywhere you stand in the city, within 30 minutes, you are going to run into a university. The founder of Lake City University, we rode in the same car today. Professor Jide Oweye sitting there. Professor Jide Oweye, can you please stand up? That is the founder of Lake City. He's an Egyptian man, but he knows Ibadan is better than his town. That's why I put it here. And the chair of this occasion, Ashipa Daisy, also they have a university, Daisy University, and last year I gave the convocation lecture. Thanks for that. And you will see a long chapter on higher institutions. And I will be proposing to KBSC, because we are going to have private sessions, that we are going to look for money to create OLUBADAN chair in all these universities. I will be leading that initiative. If Mrs. Ahmed Bola Tinubu can raise 20 billion in 1 week, we should be able to do much better. Now, the second part is about Asha. And I have a chapter, Fabu Land. There is nobody who lives in this city who does not know about Fabu. It's the world headquarters of Fabu. At the Emeka Gato Cocoa House, Alaji, Erenle. Fabu has a purpose and a meaning. Let me give you one. Chief Lamidi Adetubu was one of the most influential politicians. He was well known. I will mention his name 3 times. And he said, he was telling his followers that it's only 2 occasions he could sweat, that you could see sweat on him when he's eating hot amala with abula, and when he's in the other room with his choice wife. Adédùbú lọ sọ́jà, ó má di ẹbọ wálé, kó gbé, kó jí, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó rà. Ìdá méjì Ìbàdàn tá à ń pọ̀ lẹ́nìkan ṣoṣo. Nítorí pé kábíyèsí ò sí bí ẹ jẹ́ kí n gbá fàbù fún wọn náà, ẹ jẹ́ n gbá fàbù tiwọn. Tí wọ́n bá wà ń bí ẹnu mi ò ní gbọ́rọ̀ o, bọ̀ wọ́n á ti sọ̀rọ̀, wọ́n ti láwọn wà ń pè bí. Ẹ máa gbọ́ o, ẹ jẹ́ n gbá fàbù kábíyèsí fún yín. Mo ní fàbù bíi mẹ́rin fún wọn, báyọ̀ kan máa fún yín. Tẹ́ bá gbọ́ mẹ́ta yòókù, ẹ pè mí sí kọ̀rọ̀. Àṣìpa ẹ pè mí sí kọ̀rọ̀, ẹ jẹ́ wá gbá fàbù Ládọjà fún yín. Ní baba Ládọjà kábíyèsí wọ́n bá lọ bá Adédùbú, wọ́n láwọn fẹ́ jẹ gọ́fúnọ̀. Ṣé bàbá kábíyèsí àti sẹ́nitọ́ Ládọjà, ṣe sẹ́nitọ́ kábíyèsí ọ̀rẹ́ ni wọ́n in the First Republic. Bàbá Adédùbú wá ní, mo ní béèrè mẹ́ta fún ẹ o, ṣé o lè parọ́ ní èèyàn kírọ̀ ẹ̀ rẹ̀ tóbi táyé ènìyàn tiẹ̀ lè bàjẹ́? Kábíyèsí Ládọjà ní ó máa lè dé ẹ̀ mi ò lè parọ́ lọ́tọ́tọ́ bẹ́yẹn, ó yàgò burú, ó ti fẹ́ lè question alákọ̀ọ́kọ́. Ẹlẹ́kejì, ṣé o lè jà lójú títì pẹ̀lú aṣọ tó dáa jù tó ní bíi tọ́ọ̀gì? Kábíyèsí ní èmi ò lè ṣe yẹn o, oníkòkòrò o ti fẹ́ lè méjì o, wà ní má bí ẹ̀ ń kẹta o, ṣé o lè pa àyàn kó wá kọ ọlọ́pàá tọ́lọ́pàá bá dé kó ní ṣẹ́rókù tó wà lálẹ́ yẹn èmi mo pa? Ó lóun lè ṣe yẹn. Bàbá Adédùbú wá ní o ò tí ì ṣetán láti jẹ gọ́fúnọ̀, ọ̀ máa fi ẹ jẹ sẹ́nitọ̀, wàá fi jẹ sẹ́nitọ̀. Fàbúlé o, bàbá Àríṣekọ́lá wọ́n kọ́ ilé yẹn, mọ́mọ́lé yẹn o. Bàbá Adédùbú wá lọ bá wọn pé ilé tó dáa tó báyìí ó yẹ kí lion lè wà ń bẹ̀. Wọ́n láwọn ọmọ mi tó ti ń ta lion ní Senegal. Wọ́n ní wàá lọ mú owó lion yẹn wá ni o, owó lion òde owó mi dà, mo ti ná. Nínú chapter yẹn you are going to enjoy it so much. Adéwùmí Ìṣọ̀lá inú hall náà láti ṣòkú wọn o, nígbà wọn kú tá a ṣe pàtí kọ́nà ń bẹ̀yẹn ni mo jókòó sí lọ́jọ́ yẹn. Mo máa ń gbá fàbú gan tó pọ̀. Nítorí wá ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé àwọn èèyàn tí ò mọ̀ ń pa Ìbàdàn wọ́n á rò pé irọ́ ni fàbú yẹn, irọ́ yàtọ̀ sí fàbú. Ṣé ráwa tá à ń gbá fàbú fúnra wa, àpárọ̀ fúnra wa, bọ̀ á ti mọ̀ pé fàbú là ń gbá. Labá ń jayé là ń ṣe fàájì, à ń mọtí bí ìgbà tí dùn mú ẹ̀jẹ̀. Fàbú tèmi ni mo fẹ́ gbé fún yín o, fàbú tèmi nìyẹn o. Lọkùnrin yẹn bá dé, kí ló dé? Olóhùn àtìyàwó ń jà, ká fún un mọ̀ràn, jókòó ẹ bá ń gbé pẹpẹ súpù fún òmù. Báwa ṣe ń mọ̀gbò kan lónà mú olówó lọ́wọ́ o, ṣùgbọ́n níbàdàn ni àwa lágbádá ńlé o. bóde bá ti ya ẹ̀kẹ́ sí à àwọn olólọ́wọ́ ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀kẹ́ sí à bá a ṣe mọ tí yẹn náà ló mú ńgbàlẹ̀ wá ṣù ó ní àwa sọ fún pé ọ̀rẹ́ wa kan ló máa ń bá àwọn èèyàn parí ìjà láti ọkọ àti ìyàwó tó bá ń jà pé aláàtìṣe lórúkọ ẹ̀ lẹ́yìn ìgò márùn-ún wá ní mr aláàtìṣe yín dà tó fẹ́ bá àwọn àtìyàwó parí ìjà wa sọ fún pé aláàtìṣe ní màtìṣe ààrẹ o àwa ń lọ léwu. ṣe rí fàbú yẹn kì í ṣe wípé àwa méjèèjì tá a jọ ń gbà kì í ṣe wípé ẹ fi ń parọ́ ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́ bá ti gbé àlejò sí òun á rò pé irọ́ lẹ̀ ń pa ni torí gbà míì wọ́n mọ bí a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ àti bá a ṣe ń jù síra wa àti bí a ṣe ń fi àwàdà sọ nǹkan ńlá. Nígbà tí mo kọ mẹ́mọ́à mi ara àwọn ọba Ìbàdàn tí mo fẹ́ràn jù tí mo fẹ́ràn gan lọ́ba Ṣàníkẹ́. When I saw the program for Kábíyèsí Ládọjà, I sent an emissary to him. I said, don't attend every event because at 81, anything can happen. When we were doing the coronation of Ashanike, he collapsed. I think some of you are old enough to know the incident. On his coronation day, they asked him to prostrate publicly 3 times. This is page 172 of the book. As part of the final rite of the ritual. After the 3rd prostration, he collapsed on the floor. Real story. This is not a fable. So they helped him to sit back on his seat. And when the letter asked him, Kábíyèsí, ṣé kò sí tẹ́ fi dákú? Ó lóun fẹ́ sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé ṣé ẹ ti ń ro kúrò mi? Mo sì ti kú fún yín, mo ti dákú fún yín. Because they were saying, bàbá yìí ti dàgbà kò ní pẹ́ kú, ọdún 10 wọn lò, nǹkan kan ò ṣe wọ́n. Bàbá Ládọjà àwọn á lo 20 ọdún o láti jù bẹ́ẹ̀. And in this fable, we have to understand what they are trying to do. Akiwumi Shola asked a number. And I will cite one. You have to forgive me if you can't stand it. Òbúkọ ó máa ń rùn gan. Kò tiẹ̀ fine. Irúgbìn yẹn gan kò kí n trim wẹ̀. Mo ń fi kún fàbú Ṣọlá ni o. Mo ń já àlùbọ́sà sí. Torí tí Ìbàdàn bá ń ṣe fàbú, tó bá ti gbọ́ fàbú yẹn, tó bá fẹ́ sọ fẹ́ lómi, àwọn wá ju magí sínú ẹ̀. Mo ń ju magí sí fàbú Ṣọlá yẹn ń ju magí sí. Tó bá wá rí obìnrin, a wá máa ṣakọ. Òṣàkọ tó takòkò adìẹ òṣèǹkọ àkókò adìẹ àkọ́kọ́ post àpẹyọ gbẹgbẹgbẹ a ní kó wò bó ń ṣe fáìn tó. tí obìnrin bá wá gbà fún dúró Adélékè wá ń bí ọ̀rẹ́ best boyfriend Ìṣọ̀lá nìyẹn o tí n bá parọ́ mọ́ Ìṣọ̀lá òkú ọ̀run kó já mi o tóbìnrin yẹn bá wá gbà fún Ìṣọ̀lá ni o tó bá wá nà dé sẹ́yìn kàkó kókó ṣe thank you ẹ̀ mọ́ tá a máa ṣe ìdí ẹ̀ ń rùn ìdí ẹ̀ ń rùn obìnrin yẹn wúrẹ́ yà á sọ pé lò bẹ́ẹ̀ ìdí ẹ̀ tí ewúrẹ́ fún máa ń sọ pé lò bẹ́ẹ̀ nìyẹn pèpè níyẹn màmá ń rùn bàbá màá nèjì ẹ̀ ni aṣọ yẹn ní chapter 6 àwa sọ fictions oríṣiríṣi àwọn èèyàn tó fi Ìbàdàn ṣoríire Fẹ́mi Ọ̀ṣọ́fisán wà bí o wọ́n fi Ìbàdàn ṣoríire tẹ́ bá wà wẹ́rẹ́ wọn Ìjẹ̀bú kọ́ wọn lọ kó wọn wá o Ìbàdàn wọn ti kó wọn o wọ́n wà níbi kan bí borí wọn lẹ́ẹ̀kan ẹ wà bí Ìbàdàn lẹ́ fi ṣoríire o ṣé mo parọ́ ni Túndé Kèlání dà mo rí Túndé Kèlání àtàkì wọn wá kí mi lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo lẹ́ sálọ ẹ dìde o ẹ dìde mainframe ẹ rí mainframe yẹn tá a bá yọ Ìbàdàn kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀ kò mainframe ti collapse o òkò lérò ó ti wó lulẹ̀ o ẹ lọ wo eré wọn ètò ìyẹ̀ṣẹ̀ Cordelia eré Fẹ́mi Ọ̀ṣọ́fisán tó fi Ìbàdàn ṣoríire ni ó ní latest film wọn eré wọn tán láìpẹ́ jù Akínwùmí Ìṣọ̀lá ló kọ ọ Ṣàwòrò Idẹ ní kílà ní tẹ́wọ̀n yẹn fi gbá yìí o àbá ṣé ẹ mọ̀ ni ẹ máa sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ pé ẹ bá mọ̀ kílà ní tí Ìbàdàn bá gba gbogbo tó yá yín mainframe ó kú dànù o àwọn òwe tó wà ní things fall apart tí wọ́n lówó Ìgbò ní Ìbàdàn bí làjẹbẹ ti rí o Ṣóyínká tó gba Nobel ó yẹ kó rúbọ fún Ìbàdàn o kó pe lọ sórí ìta mẹ́ta o wọ́n wá pọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ àtòrí ìtàgé stage play that they've done and Ibadan has appeared in many novels, many poems, in fiction, so many of them. Tebakawe Elechi Amadi, Yejide Kilanko, Abimbola Adelakun, many of these writers, Ibadan gave them the data to write. Èmi tẹ́ ń wò yìí ọmọ kékeré yìí mo ti kọ ìwé 4 memoir lórí Òde Ajé tí mi ò bá gbé Ìbàdàn I would not have been able to write A Mouse Sweeter Than Salt. I would not have been able to write Counting the Tiger State. And a book of mine was released last week, Malaika and the Seven Heavens. Àwọn alájà àtàlájà àti mórí. And also the formation of clubs, Association of Nigeria Authors, Ibadan chapter. So Ibadan is part of the center of African fiction and creative work. And also in music, I devoted an entire chapter to 2 musicians, Barista and Dada Ekwaka. It's an entire chapter. And I wrote on stereotypes. And it's something that the palace has to work on. Kí ló dé tó ń fi Ìbàdàn ṣe yẹ̀yẹ́? Àwọn tó dẹ̀ ń fi Ìbàdàn ṣe yẹ̀yẹ́ yẹn ará oko ni wọ́n o. Number 7 is about the stereotypes. And I pose the question, and I have here a professor who read the chapter, who said I should leave them alone. And I've said I am not going to leave them alone. And it's about time that once they abuse us, we should also abuse them back. The greatest skill we have the language of abuse. They cannot abuse us, and we keep our mouth shut. Ẹ má jẹ́ kán bú wa mọ́ o. Ẹ má jẹ́ kán bú wa mọ́. Àwa náà láti ní lọ. Tí wọ́n bá ti bú yín, kẹ́ ẹ bèrè ìlú wọn, lẹ́yìn náà bó ti yín padà. The final chapter is on Oba Rashidi Adewale. It's a very long chapter. And what the people expect of him. It will include urban renewal, managing the streets, creating job opportunities for young people. The OLUBADAN is not the governor, and is not the president of Nigeria. But he has power based on tradition. He has the power to call on you and call on me for advice. And he has the power to create a list of certain things that are doable and certain things that are not doable. And I listed many of the activities that he should do. And many of the activities that are possible even as of today. We are having a meeting with him to discuss many of these new initiatives. And I'm glad to be part of that initiative. The MC has thanked many of you for coming, but the audience is far more extensive than the people that is thanking. I mentioned we have people from Kano, some people came purposely to listen to this lecture from far away, other countries. We have had friends from other towns. I mentioned Tunde Kilani from Abeokuta, Tunde Babawale is here, Eliashiru, Provost of College of Technology. I mentioned Professor Shofis earlier. I saw Musuro, booksellers here. They are part of us. They are part of us. And the city has welcomed them. They have houses in the city, and we have been very hospitable to them. We are going to continue with this hospitality. We will benefit from their knowledge, from their resources. We will create new platforms. Some years ago, Musuru and I were proposing an annual Ibadan cultural festival, bringing artists and musicians together. If he still remembers, we discussed that. I even went to his house. This is part of the note that I've sent to the new KBSC. when I was in elementary school, where this festival competition in drama in elementary school, I wrote my first play. We should revive that. I'm suggesting the creation of the OLUBADAN Cup on cultural creativity, on dance, writing poems. In my days, we were natural actors. We could do Nollywood from the age of 10 and 12 because we were already writing scripts, playing on the streets, and using language. Today, to get someone like me who can act like that has become very difficult because now we have some Ibadan people who don't speak Yoruba, and we have some Ibadan people who don't eat amala. We have to revive this tradition, and I pray, and the president of the Ibadan City Council is here, that some of these ideas, creating the OLUBADAN chair in all the universities here, creating the OLUBADAN award system, creating the OLUBADAN Cup in drama, OLUBADAN Cup in poetry, OLUBADAN Cup in drama will revive the glory of this city and retain the city as the intellectual capital of Africa. Thank you very much.
ẹ dákun ẹ bá ń fún Professor Toyin ọmọ yẹn ní Falola látẹwọ́ ayọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i. àkókò tá a ní kí n ó lò gan wọn àti ẹ ló pé. ẹ̀rọ mọ wa bí ẹ̀rọ mọ wa bí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń sọ ọmọ yín jàtijàti ẹ̀rí Toyin Falola bí. ní 2009 ni mo mọ Professor Toyin Falola téèyàn bá kàwé tí ò fẹ́ sọ mọ́ ló di Professor. Professor Ọmọbẹ́wàjì Da Silva àwọn ni wọ́n pè wọ́n pé kán wá fún wọn lóúnjẹ alẹ́ dínà nílé wọn ní Sokoto Street ní UMB. wọ́n wá ní kí n wá síbẹ̀ àwa pàdé wọn lọ́mọ Ìbàdàn ní Professor Toyin Falola sì fẹ́ kí n mọ̀ wọ́n àwa jọ pàdé tí wọ́n bá ti wá sí UI ní gbogbo ìgbà pátá wọ́n pè mí pé kí n wá bá wọn ní hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì wọn. Program kan wá wà tá à ń ṣe jọ kan bàbá Aláàfin tí wọ́n gbéṣẹ́ ẹ̀dẹ̀bà Aláàfin Adéyẹmí bí wọ́n wá ń ṣàlàyé nípa pé ní 1976 tíjẹ̀bẹ̀ wọ́n fẹ́ dé Olúbàdàn àti Ṣọ̀ní Adé pé jẹ̀bẹ̀ wọ́n wá pé àwọn pé kí Aláàfin bá wọn kọ kankan lórí mẹ́mò láti jọ́sìn ara wọn. Kábíyèsí wá láwọn wọn táwọn ó bọ̀ wọ́n lọ́pẹ́lọpẹ́ ìwé tí ọmọ Toyin Falola kọ làwọn lò. Ìgbà tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n wá pàdé mo wá sọ fún Professor Toyin Falola pé ìwé wo lẹ tiẹ̀ kọ wọ́n làwọn ò tiẹ̀ rántí mọ́. adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Professor Toyin Falola fún ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí wọ́n ṣe fún wa ní ìní. Ìjọ kan náà tó wà tí mo mọ rírì wọn náà bá pè mí wọn náà sáfẹ́ gba degree UI. Mo wá ní pẹ̀lú gbogbo tí ẹ ti ṣe ní orílẹ̀-èdè àgbà kí lẹ tún fẹ́ gba degree UI fún wọn náà sáfẹ́ gba degree UI. Àwọn ni the only person lórílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé tán gba D.Litt UI by examination. Ẹ dàgbẹ́ máa fún Professor Falola látẹ̀wọ́lé ẹ̀kan sí i. Wọ́n ra fọ́ọ̀mù wa wọ́n sọ̀bíìtì iṣẹ́ wọn wọ́n rí ṣe examination fún wọn. Wọ́n á níbo ní kí náà ń bi yín bẹ̀ wọ́n ní mo mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀rẹ̀ dáhùn mo dá nǹkan bí mí náà ní. Let me recognize especially Chairman Government Council, Lead City University Ibadan, Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council, Lead City University Ibadan, Professor Jide Ogweye. I also recognize specially the Vice Chancellor of that university, Professor Kadir Adeyemo. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sir. Wait, control it, please. I recognize our mother, Olori Bukola Ladoja. Olori Bukola Ladoja. Ẹ káàbọ̀ mà, ẹ ṣeun. Ẹ bá ṣe kára lé fún lórí o. I also recognize Professor Aderemi Adebibu. Please watch it. I recognize the media assistant to OLUBADAN, Chief Adiola Oloko. I recognize specially and present to this wonderful congregation the President General, Central Council of Adayin Dejeris, Chief Barisa Ajeniyi Adewole. Ekabo. Especially, I present to this wonderful assembly former head of service, Oyo State, Aliaja Agbola. I also recognize retired Colonel Nike Akerele, the Baba Jiro of Ibadan land, Aliaji Tajudeen Aremu, you are most welcome. All the baálẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀yin baálẹ̀ bí tẹ́ ẹ bá wà ẹ bá ń dìde kẹ́ ẹ farahanlé gbogbo ẹ̀yin baálẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ wà bíi pátápátá baálẹ̀ tán wà bíi ẹ dákun ẹ bá mi fáwọn baálẹ̀ wa látẹ̀wọ́ ayọ̀ o. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn mọ́gàjì pátápátá ẹ ṣeun. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin baálẹ̀ náà ẹ ṣeun. Mo rí bíi náà former minister of sports Professor Toyin Adédọjà ẹ dákun mi tẹ bá ẹ bá ń farahanlé. Ní báyìí nígbà tí a ṣe Ìbàdàn week ní May a fẹ́ fún Professor Falola ní àmì ẹ̀yẹ ṣùgbọ́n wọn ò lè wá Central Council of Adayin wọ́n fẹ́ lo ayẹyẹ yìí láti ṣe ètò yẹn fún wọn. Àwọn bàbá wa former President General Chief Mustapha Adébáyọ̀ Yero àwọn ni wọ́n bá wa ṣáájú láti gbé fún wọn. Gbogbo member executive council CCI tẹ wá ń bì ẹ máa bọ̀ wájú. All the members of the executive council Central Council of Adayin ẹ máa bọ̀ wájú ń bì. Táwọn former chairman Ibadan week náà bá wà ń bì ká máa bọ̀ ń bì. Chief Ayoyinka Babatunde mo recognize you. Alhaji Abiola Ali, Chairman Ibadan Cultural Festival 2025. Àwọn náà ti wà mí. Ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ní Chief Ayoyin ló yóò bá pé fún Professor Falola.
The songs I'll go to the phone. You want to take picture?
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's just the live stream, don't worry.
the Central Council of Ibadan wants to make a presentation of the most patriotic Ibadan indigenes to Professor Toyin Falola. Wọ́n ti gba highest award CCI many years ago, which is the Merit Award. Èyí is in recognition of his professional capability. The Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes, CCI, award of recognition presented to Professor Toyin Falola, a historian of note, for projecting the image of Ibadan worldwide through enviable academic exploits. Honored as the most patriotic Ibadan indigene, MPII. Professor, you are free, you are qualified to put MPII after your name. On behalf of the Central Council of Ibadan Indigene, I present this to you. And then the plaque. Are you okay?
In addition, to present to you all the brochure and other publications of this year's Ibadan Cultural Festival Grand Finale. Congratulations.
Mo dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ o. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n fi fàbù dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn. Ṣé kí n ṣe fàbù àbí kí n má ṣe? Ẹ dáhùn. Nígbà tí wọ́n fẹ́ fi mí jẹ bọ́bà àgùntàn of Ibadan land, àwọn kábíyèsí tí wọ́n fi mí jẹ, éèjì wọn gbà yẹn was 99. Lábá àti rẹ́ǹtì hall, àbá àti sanwó, lábá dé Ìbàdàn, wọ́n bá ní bàbá ti postpone. Postpone àti sanwó. Wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe tó máa pé 100. Wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe fún èmi àti Wọlé Ṣóyínká. Àwọn èèyàn wá ń bi mí pé kí ló dé tó ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀? Wọ́n ní babaláwo wọn ni o. Pé tí wọ́n bá fi Falola joyè, wọ́n ò ní kọjá 100 o. Mo ní ẹ má kú kábíyèsí o. Mo wá wà ní ọ̀dọ̀ Aláàfin, journalist kan wá dé, ó wá ní ẹnu ẹ̀ gbọ́rọ̀, ó ní bàbá ìyàwó yín ṣe pọ̀ tó báyìí, èmi ò wá jẹ́ k'Aláàfin dáhùn. Wọ́n ní ìyàwó kan ọdún 4, ìyàwó kejì ọdún 8, ìyàwó kẹta ọdún 12. Wọ́n ní gbogbo ìyàwó kọ̀ọ̀kan t'Aláàfin nìyẹn. wọ́n fi áàdì ọdún mẹ́rin sáyé wọn ẹ ṣeun. ṣé ẹ rí tó bá jẹ́ pé mo ti wá gba àwọ́ọ̀dù yìí báyìí ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé Ìbàdàn láti yẹ mí tó tèmi mo dọ́gbọ́n sí ni bó dìgbà tá a bá lọ́pàá tuntun kí n tó gba àwọ́ọ̀dù.
Professor, now please, for photo of hands, please. I can't allow.
Okay. And you
the sound.
This sound.
Only big sound. Why we camera going?
What about Mike?
She might come by.
And now she's going to. She didn't bring it. We also need an interview. We need an interview.
That is how to
we need an interview. Maybe you should go and struggle for it.
Alright, let's first.
We need it too.
On behalf of the Coronation Lecture Committee, which is a subcommittee of the main Coronation Committee, under the inspirational leadership of the Doyen of Public Administration in Nigeria, Chief Bayo Oyero, we want to sincerely and publicly acknowledge and appreciate those of us who have found time to be here with us at this very important public lecture, which is part of the coronation activities for Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja. I'd like to thank the chairman of this occasion for his time and for coming over to share this space with us. We want to thank you for your inspiring speech. We want to thank you for that encouragement, and we look forward to seeing you more and more, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I also like to thank all the Royal Majesties in our midst today for coming to honor our invitation and for participating in this very important academic exercise. We want to thank all of you very much, sir. We also would like to thank our guest lecturer, the Bobakuton of Ibadan land, and the greatest mentor any academic will want to have, Professor Toyin, Falola. We want to thank you very much, sir. Not just for coming, but for making this occasion what it has turned out to be. We will continue to be sincerely grateful to you for the way you are leading the next generation of Ibadan intellectuals. and Ibadan academics. We are just starting and we are following your footsteps. Thank you very much, sir, for providing this leadership. We want to thank the Vice Chancellor on the first and the best in the University of Ibadan for identifying with us and for providing access to this very impressive hall for this occasion. Undoubtedly, the hall is the best that we can provide in the city of Ibadan. We also would like to thank all the principal officers of the Master of Ibadan for coming out in their numbers to identify with us. We thank the Mogajis of Ibadan land for coming over to this lecture and for your presence. You have dignified this occasion with your presence. My prayer is that the Lord God Almighty will continue to honor you and put you in that position of respect and regard. We want to thank our distinguished visitors for sharing your time with us, and we want to thank all the owners of higher institutions in the Ibadan land. Many of them are here with their ambassadors and principal officers. We thank you all for coming. We thank the media professionals, both the regular media and social media. Thank you for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot thank you enough. And lastly, we want to thank the students and the cultural troupe of Emmanuel Alayode University of Education Oyo for coming out for this command performance in honor of the new OLUBADAN. We wish you the very best in your academics, and we pray that you continue to soar even in what you have chosen as a career. Lastly, may I use this occasion to thank all the members of the local organizing committee of the coronation lecture. Thank you very much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you. And may the good Lord continue to be with you. Thank you so much.
To give you every vital information, updates, interesting places, places of interest, tourism, and about people, culture around the world. Stay tuned on this channel. We promise to give you more. It's guys. Thank you.
And if the fates should bless us with a moment of reprieve, we all could stand together in the silence and just breathe. Rejoice for all the happiness